Moonies. Welcome to the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. I'm your host, Victoria L. Johnson, and I'm here with Keith Watkins, aka Strange Keith. He's the marketing director and writer for Concept Moon Studios, which is a Black and veteran-owned indie publishing company. And he's the creator of Black Lotus Dragon, a manga under the Concept Moon Studios. Super excited to have him here today to talk about all things Black Lotus Dragon and, of course, Sailor Moon. But hey, Keith, welcome to the Sailor Moon Fan Club.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm very glad to be here.
Very happy to have you. So, of course, this is a Sailor Moon Fan Club. So, first question I ask everyone is, what's your first memory of watching Sailor Moon?
So my first memory of Sailor Moon is I always kind of have somewhat of a conflict with this because I feel like it's my first memory of anime. Um, but I can't remember if Sailor Moon was my first anime or if it was Speed Racer. But my first memory with Sailor Moon is, for some reason, my mom had bought me at a very young age Sailor Moon VHS tapes. Um, so yeah, I remember watching Sailor Moon on VHS, and then it eventually made it to TV. So I watched it. I think it was on, I want to say WB or Fox. It might have been both.
Yeah, in the
Um,
mornings.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I remember seeing episodes on TV, um, and like, and I watched Dragon Ball Z too, obviously. But when everyone was talking about Dragon Ball Z at school, I would want to talk about Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, and it seemed like no one else was watching it except for me. So
Well, first, shout out to your mom for getting VHSs of Sailor Moon. She was like, you gonna watch it, but no.
right, and I don't know what made her buy them. I don't know if it was just because she saw a cartoon and was
Probably,
like, "Let me
yeah.
get this." Yeah,
It's probably like, this looks like what you've been watching here.
right. But
Yeah.
I mean, I thank her for it. It started me a long life of anime fandom. But
Yeah. It's so funny how like those random purchases can just lead to like completely changing your life.
right, because it's funny because when I see her, she'll be like, "You still watch those cartoons?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's your fault, you know."
Yeah, my mom is the same way. She'll be like, you still like Sailor Moon? And I'm like, yep, I still would like this Sailor Moon something for Christmas. Like, oh man, yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, that is cool. Yeah, I feel like people were watching Sailor Moon, and I feel like no one wanted to admit they were watching Sailor Moon back then for some
Right.
reason. And it's so sad because it's so good.
Right. Yeah. Like you could have, there was nothing wrong with it. We all could have just said we were watching it, and then we would have had people to talk about it with before we were, full grown adults.
Right, yeah. But luckily we got the podcast now. We got Twitter, we got ways to find each other.
Right.
Um, so but definitely shout out to your mom. Um, and so as you're watching either on these VHS tapes or on a Fox/WB, do you have any favorite episodes or moments that you remember that you liked?
Huh. Um. Well, not from back then, honestly. Um.
Mhm.
I will say I've been kind of sporadically going back and rewatching parts. Um. And I love the arc with Al and An, the brother and sister,
Ooh, yeah.
with the Makai tree. Um, the way that arc ends was really good to me, especially with like Moonlight Knight being who he was, and then the tree at the end being like, I just wanted love. You guys kept feeding me energy, and I just wanted love from you guys. Like that, I really like um, that arc.
Yeah. Oh man, you just made me so happy because I love that art too. And I feel like it's so underappreciated because for that same
Yeah,
reason, like that ending where he's like, y'all just have like all this hate, you keep feeding me like all this negative energy, and like I really just needed love. Like, it's such
Right.
a cool
Like,
message.
like just love me.
Right, exactly. Like just it's free. You don't have to do all this. Just acts of love. So yeah, the
And
tree's love
it's
language.
it's funny. It's funny because like the tree could have just said that the whole time and avoided all of that. But
Well, I think it didn't have enough energy, I think. But yeah, it definitely could have spoke up, at least whispered something like, hey,
right.
actually.
It's like I finally had enough. I'm just gonna tell you guys, love me. All this
Right.
energy stuff is not what I wanted.
Tree is low-key petty.
Right.
Like, I want to see how far y'all gonna go with this.
Passive aggressive.
See what happens. See if y'all can figure it out on your own.
Right. I'll drop these hints and see
Yeah.
what happens.
Did you hear? This is so random. There was like a guy who like I think his daughter, she was like really young. She asked him to open a like a can of beans or something.
Mhm.
And he like just gave her the can opener and like wouldn't tell her how to use it. And like for like days, she like couldn't figure it out and he just would not help her. And people were just like, just help your
Just
daughter. Like, what's
open
wrong
it.
with you? Yeah. I feel like that's the tree.
That is exactly what the tree was doing.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, do you have a favorite sailor, scout slash senshi?
Yes, Sailor Mars has always been my favorite. Um, she was, I well, I guess she was like my first anime girl crush. When I was
Ooh,
a
okay.
kid,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I loved Ray. I was like obsessed as a kid. Even the few people that I knew or the few kids that I knew that were also watching Sailor Moon and their favorite was Sailor Moon and I was like, no, Sailor Mars. I remember getting into arguments at school um, about Sailor Mars being the best Sailor Scout.
I love that. That is so funny. Just be like, actually, yeah, no, Sailor Mars is great. Do you think like was it like I know a lot of people love her for like the fire powers, but also because like she kind of keeps Serena slash Usagi in check. And
Yeah, she doesn't fuck around, she doesn't take anybody's shit and I love that. Um she was always on Serena Usagi um for, she was such a kind of a klutz and a little airheaded. We love her anyway, but um the Ray was just always on her case. And I don't know what it was. I don't know, maybe I just have a thing for strong women, but that's what Ray has always kind of been for me.
yeah, I totally get it. I completely agree. I think, yeah, like I think everyone needs like friends who like one will like love you for who you are, but also like try to push you to be a little bit better, Try to,
Yeah,
yeah.
that tough love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Um, well, speaking of creating characters and things of such, we'll talk about a little bit about you because you have your own manga, Black Lotus Dragon. How did you come up with the idea for that? And
Yes,
I did read
yes.
it. It's really good so
Oh,
far.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for the first issue,
Uh,
I should say.
yeah, so the first issue is all we got out right now. Um second second issue is on the way. Um yeah, the idea actually started with my girlfriend. We went and saw a movie. I can't remember what movie it was. Um, but after the movie, she was like, "It would be a really cool idea to see a movie or a show where a mom was also a ninja." I was like, yeah, that is a good idea, isn't it?" Um, and I mean, she knew that I was going to use that idea once I figured out what I was going to do with it. But from there, I took her idea and started developing it and figuring out like, okay, what time period should it be in? How should the kids be? How should the family be? And how is her interaction with the family um, going to affect her kind of secret life as a ninja, or is she hiding it from the family? um and ultimately I decided to go with that. But um yeah, that's kind of how it started. My girlfriend planted the seed, and then I just took that and ran with it.
Oh man, shout out to the girlfriend. It's so true. Yeah, I think anytime I have a Black woman protagonist, I am always just like so happy. And I think especially like moms are
Hmm.
most moms are superheroes, and I feel
Right.
like they definitely need some more recognition. So it's cool that she gave you the idea and you give her recognition, but also like you were like able to bring it into this comic book. It's super cool.
Yeah,
Um,
and we don't see a whole lot of woman protagonists in manga and anime. That's like, at least not in action series.
mhm.
So and especially not Black women. So I really wanted to make a dope story with a dope Black woman as the focus.
Yeah. What made you decide um to make it into, I guess it's like
Oh
1800s? Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So it's kind of a western.
Right. I was trying to think of the word Western.
Yeah.
I was thinking Shogun for some reason. I was like, that's not right. Western,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a kind of a western. And I mean, honestly, I went with western just because for where I plan on taking the story. um I didn't So I hate when I watch a show that has like a crime or something, and I'm like, okay, couldn't the police just figure this out with forensics? So I wanted to put
Mm,
in a time period where there's no forensics, and like the Wild West was the Wild West. It was like anything goes. So um, I felt like that was the right time period to put it in for what I plan on doing with the story.
yeah, that makes sense. Cause I mean, well, I guess this isn't really a spoiler, but spoiler, like racist white people get killed. And which is always like very therapeutic for me. Um,
Yeah, and that's going to happen all throughout the story.
yeah,
So
I'm in. But, but yeah, so I think that that makes a lot of sense though when you talk about like forensics, like that's true because that bothers me all the time with shows where it's like, okay, but are they going to figure out who did this? Like, there's no way he cleaned up that well or she cleaned up that well. They're not going to find him
right,
or figure out who did this at
yeah,
some
and
point.
you can do contemporary stories in a modern setting with that kind of thing. But I just know for me, I always think like, well, this story is great, but of course that's a plot hole of, the police could have easily figured this out with technology. So I just wanted to completely remove technology, um, so that I wouldn't even have to worry about it for myself, because I wanted to write it. So my approach to writing is I want to write a story that I would enjoy, watching or reading. So I try to avoid plot holes that I know that I would recognize as a viewer.
That's a cool way of going about it because I feel like I don't hear that much as like, oh, I decided on this setting or like this way to do it because of like a strategic move, sort of.
Mhm.
It's kind of cool. What would you say some of your inspirations for Black Lotus Dragon?
Um, Obviously Sailor Moon, having this
Yay!
this strong woman protagonist. She's not as clumsy and stuff as Serena, but or as Usagi. Um,
Either is
but
fine.
yeah, but definitely Sailor Moon influence. Some pretty heavy Hunter x Hunter influence. Um,
Love Hunter x
Definitely,
Hunter. Mhm.
yeah, that's one of my favorites. Um, what else? Definitely um, a little bit of Michiko and Hatchin influence.
Also a great one. Also a great one, yeah. It's funny because I think Canary from Hunter x Hunter and Michiko are like two of the best like black representations
Yeah,
in anime.
absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely
I
agree.
see it. That's really cool. Yeah, I can see it too. I feel like Michiko and Hodgkin is also very, I wouldn't call it, it's not a Western, but it definitely does feel like kind of removed. Maybe because they're like in
Hmm.
Brazil and it's just like,
Yeah,
I can
and
kind of see that feel.
Michiko is on the run from the law,
Hmm.
and yeah, it does feel very much like a Western. Now that I'm thinking, I never thought about it like that, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's it definitely has that connection.
Yeah, I never thought of that either until now. I was like, oh yeah, I can kind of see that. That's cool though. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. When is the second issue coming out, and what can you say? What can we expect? So I'm already kind of like hooked.
So, second issue, we're looking at first or second quarter of 2022. Definitely, uh, I'm hoping for like February, but it'll definitely be in the first half of the year to come out. Oh man, my mind just went blank. What was this? What was the
No
second
worries.
part of your question?
That
Oh, what
happens
can
to
we
me all the
expect?
time. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
um, so with the second issue, I wanted to introduce her two kids a little bit more. So that's definitely what to expect with the second issue is getting to know the kids, and they're kind of uh, the lighter side of the story. They're both funny. They're both like really mischievous kids. Um, and then their brother and sister, obviously. But I wanted to introduce them in the second issue because you see them in the first one, but you don't. They're kind of just there. You don't really get to know them at all. So for the second issue, I wanted to really let the audience get to know them a little better because they're going to be a big part of the story.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, I did that does make a lot of sense. I remember like I was like, oh, like kids are cute. Like what is going on? Like what's up with kids? And I did assume that she was gonna go off on her own, but I like that the kids are gonna be part of the story because that's cool.
Yeah,
Um,
they'll be kind of like my beat. They'll have their own thing kind of going on
got
while
it.
she's doing her thing, and then eventually their stories like merge. Well, obviously they're family, so but
Yeah.
their stories will intertwine a little bit more down the line.
Nice, nice. Well, I am excited. Definitely will look out for that in 2022. And yes, and then outside of that, like you do marketing for Concept Moon Studios, which
Mhm.
seems like a super dope company, like Black owned, veteran owned. How did you get involved with them?
So I actually a few years ago, that was I want to say that was 2017. I had been working on a couple stories that I was planning on uh kind of self-publishing. Um, and then another black-owned manga company had a contest where writers could submit their stories. Um, and they would pick a winner, and the winner, uh they would publish the winner story. So I submitted mine. I didn't win, but after that, I was like, okay, well, I could just maybe start my own company. Um, so I talked to some friends who I knew were writing manga as well, and reached out to them, and was like, hey, I'm thinking about putting together a company. If I was, would you be, okay with having my company publish a story? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. Um, and then I kind of realized how hard it was to start a company, especially a publishing company. Um, when you don't draw, because I can't draw at all, and like everyone that I knew, they were all writers. They're not artists, so it's like, okay, well, I gotta find some money to get art done. I gotta, put things together. I gotta get contracts together for copyrights, yada yada. Um, and that stuff's really hard, especially if you're doing it by yourself. And
Yeah.
like it's really tough. And around that time, I was listening to a friend's podcast, and he had the founder of Concept Moon, Brandon, as a guest on the podcast. Shout out to Blaname Podcast. Those are like really close friends. They're actually part of the Concept Moon family now, but at the time they had Brandon come on as a guest, and he was talking about what Concept Moon was doing. And I was like, that sounds like exactly what I'm trying to do. And he's got he's done all the foundation stuff already. And I believe they had 2 books out at the time. So I hit my friend at Blaname Podcast and just was like, hey, can you connect me with Brandon? I'm trying to put together this company, and he kind of has done that already. So it probably would be better for us to work together than for us to, for me to build this and then us be in competition. So my friend Mike connected us, and I gave Brandon a call and kind of I made a pitch of myself. It wasn't like a job interview, but I told him like, hey, I have a story that I want to get done, but also like I have some experience in marketing, coming from my photography background. And then also, so in our conversation, I found out that Brandon was working in Saudi Arabia. So it's been tough for him because he's not a huge fan of social media. But 2, it was tough because the audience is in the States and he was working out of the country. So, just time difference, and then he's not able to be over here meeting people, that kind of thing. So me being in the States and then also having a little bit of a marketing background, and then also being like this big anime nerd and knowing people in the anime community, it kind of was like this perfect alignment almost. And ever since then, I've been working with Concept Moon, and Brandon's like a brother to me now. And yeah, and we've been working on this thing together and trying to grow into the next big publishing titan.
Nice. I love a good origin story. Yeah, that's so cool. I didn't know you guys went that far back. So that's super dope. Taking it back like 20, yeah, a little while. And yeah. And I love the
Yeah,
name
well,
too. Mhm.
yeah, it was a dope name. I had a name, but it was like, I'm already coming in and the name's already there. So,
Mhm.
and it's a really dope name. It's just, obviously I wasn't going to try to change it or anything.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
anything
yeah,
with moon in
20.
it, I'm like happy.
Yeah, I think 2019 is when I officially joined. Um, yeah, since then we've been rocking.
Nice. I mean, that is a solid partnership. Once he said he doesn't like social media, I was just like, damn, that's
Yeah.
hard. That's hard. You need
Yeah,
somebody.
it's hard to market and
Hmm.
not be on social media, and when I went and looked at the social media, it would be like a post every 2 weeks, or that kind of thing. So um
Right.
and even
Yeah.
me personally, I especially like Instagram, I don't post real consistent,
Mhm.
but it helped me to get into the swing of posting consistently with the Concept Moon page. So
Oh, nice. Yeah. So it's like everybody wins.
yeah.
Love it. Yeah, I need to get better at Instagram too. I'm good. I'm okay at the podcast Instagram, but my personal
Mhm.
Instagram, I post like once a month, if
Yeah,
that. It's really
it's
bad.
tough because
Hmm.
sometimes it's like I don't really have nothing worth posting right now.
Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't really do nothing. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
And like
Yeah.
I'm not the type to like post selfies and stuff on Instagram. So
Hmm.
usually if I'm posting on Instagram, it's something that I'm doing or working on, or
Right.
um like I used to do photography a lot, so I would post photography, but since I've slowed down on that, it's like, well, what do I post now? So
Right. Yep. It's hard. Yeah. That's what I've been enjoying the photo dumps becoming a thing
mm,
again. Because I'll just post like, oh
yeah.
yeah, here's like the last 5 meals I had.
Right.
You
So
know,
some random memes, a couple food pictures.
yeah, maybe a selfie. something else. Yeah, it's so I enjoy that because I'm like, yes, lower the standards for these photos.
Right. It feels like so much pressure sometimes to post on
It
Instagram.
does. It does. I'm like, which one is the right photo? And I'm just like, oh, it's too much. I'm just not gonna post anything. um, what would we say is your favorite piece of anime merch you own or nerd merch?
um, that is a good question. So I have an anime T-shirt collection, and
Ooh.
that's like my prized thing because I'm not a big collector of things, but
Mm.
my anime shirts are definitely yeah, I definitely say my anime shirts. And I love when like I wear one and people recognize them, because they make pretty good conversation pieces too.
Yeah. I always feel the same way whenever I wear like a anime shirt or any nerd shirt and I like come across
Mhm.
somebody and they're also a fan of it. And I'm just like, oh, now we have like
Right.
a whole conversation to have.
Yeah, and it's very nice, especially when it feels good for people to say, "Hey, I like your shirt. I love that
Hmm.
show."
Right. Yeah. It's just like, oh, I'm one with the world.
Yeah. And like
I,
a lot of my shirts are like kind of fusions of things. So like I have one that's the Yu Yu Hakusho cast, but they're all dressed as Power Rangers, which is probably like
ooh.
one of that's probably my favorite one, to be honest. Um, but yeah, like those kind of shirts people really like because it's like they get both references usually when they say something.
Yeah, I really love crossover art or thing or merch like that. I have a shirt with
Hmm.
it's a Sailor Scouts with Batman.
Oh, nice.
It's really fun. Uh, it's really cute. It's one of my favorite shirts. Yeah, so I totally get that. I love seeing crossover art too online where I've
Yeah.
seen I'm trying to even think right now. I don't even know. But yeah, I've seen Sailor Moon with Power Rangers too. And
Hmm.
I'm trying to think what else I've seen. I've seen like Sailor Moon with Dragon Ball Z, which is always funny.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and like DC, like Sailor Moon is Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman is Sailor Moon.
Oh, that sounds really. I need to see that because that sounds awesome.
Yeah. I'll drop a link for anyone listening and I'll share it with you too.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yeah, it was really good. I don't have the a shirt with it, but I have a
Hmm.
the art I can share.
Okay.
Uh yeah, but it's so cool. And what's any advice you'd give to someone who wants to write their own manga one day?
Just start. Just start writing. And even if you're not an artist, because I'm not an artist at all. We have some artists on staff, but I I can't draw at all. I'll do like a rough sketch, a terrible rough sketch kind of storyboard sometimes if I have an idea that I can't explain with words and it looks like a 7-year old drew it, but just go for it. Um, for me, when I started writing, I didn't have an artist in mind. I didn't have any money to give to an artist, but I just started writing, and that I think is what got me to here now. Um, so yeah, just start writing. Don't worry about anything else. Just start writing. Learn story structures because I have seen some people who write and the story the idea is really good, but sometimes the story structure could use some work. So definitely learn storytelling, learn story structure, character building, but definitely just get started. Don't let even if you're not great with that stuff, that can come later on. Just start writing. That's the best thing I can say, honestly.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you can like finish a project, like finishing one issue of a manga, I think is says a lot. So thank you for sharing your advice. I think it's so true.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to rewrite too, because I've definitely
Mm,
written something and then went back and was like, "Oh, this sucks," and and made some changes. So
yeah,
don't be afraid to make edits.
that's so true. Like you can't edit unless you write it first. So
Right,
write it. You can always make
exactly.
it better. But just get it
Mhm.
down on paper. Yeah. And then, just like Sailor Moon had her, Sailor Moon says phrase at the end of every episode. What would your phrase be? Sailor Keith says, or Sailor Strange Keith says, whichever one you
Yeah.
want.
Oh, Sailor Strange sounds good.
It does. Sounds like Sailor Moon and Doctor Strange crossover.
Now that's the crossover that we need.
Yes.
Man. Sailor Strange says enjoy yourself. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that because a lot of it, we all get caught up in this hustle and bustle of life, and especially with the pandemic, life has been pretty rough for a lot of people. So um, yeah, make sure you enjoy yourself. Do things you enjoy. Find joy in things. Make time for things you enjoy, because we, as far as we know, we only get this one life. So make sure you enjoy it.
I love it. It's so true. That's so, so, so true. And what is next for you, and where can people find you?
So what's next? So Concept Moon has a Kickstarter launching on October 1st for our newest book, After Image. And I'll be heading the marketing for that. It's a really, really fun book. He's After Image is our first teen hero. So he's very like quirky, witty, street vigilante type kid. If you think of like Static or Peter Parker or Miles Morales, he kind of falls into that category. Yeah, that's what's next. Kickstarter for that October 1st. I have another manga that I'm working on for early next year, so that's probably what's next after that. And then you can find me at Concept Moon on Twitter and Instagram, or my personal Twitter is at Strange Keith, and then at Strange Keith CM on Instagram. But I'm not on there a whole lot. Sorry about my dog.
No problem. He was just like, I will wait right to the end.
Right. Yeah, I guess he's telling me I need to post on my Instagram more.
Right. He's like, and I told you, post me. He probably wants to post more.
Yeah, that's what I should do. I should post I think I might do that. My whole Instagram will be dedicated to him now.
Yes, do it. Well, yeah. But I'll put your Instagram and your stuff titles in the description, in the thing below, for anyone who might have missed it. Because cute dog. Also, I feel like you have to send me a picture of the dog now.
I will, because he's very adorable.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. What's his name? Oh.
Cairo.
Cairo. Okay, yeah. Please send a picture of Cairo. Pay the pet tax to our listeners.
Definitely will. Yeah. Everyone seems to love him. So
I'm sure. Dogs are awesome. And I did start reading After Image. I didn't finish it, but the art is really great. Also, I think Robert Jeffrey's on here, who's like amazing too.
He was the writer for that.
Yeah.
And he did an amazing job. I was blown away, honestly.
I really I read a few of his other comics, and it was really good. So I'm excited to finish this up. I didn't finish it though, but I'm gonna get on that.
Yeah, well, I hope you like it. We've had a couple people read it so far, and they've liked it. It's gotten good reviews so far, so I hope you like it as well, for sure.
It looks good so far, so I'll definitely check it out in the near future. And thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I hope all the Moonies enjoy this episode.
Me too. I'm sure they will. This is great. It's so good hearing how you started your manga, your journey into watching Sailor Moon, and of course your Sailor Moon says phrase is believe me.
Yeah, I've been
enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I was practicing that all week I have to be honest. Like, man, I was like really stressed about it. Like, man, what should my Sailor Says be?
I love that people take it so seriously. It makes me so happy because it's really just indulging me in my silliness.
It's always, oh man.
Oh, you
I'm
nailed
glad
it.
I came to enjoy yourself, because it was like, I was really stressed about it. Like, man, does it need to be something deep? Should I be funny or
It can be whatever you want it to be. That's a funny one. I think you nailed it. You landed on a good one. Enjoy yourself is so important. I need to hear that more often myself. So yes, definitely.
Yeah, we've always got to remind ourselves of that. So definitely have some fun.
Yeah. So Moonies, you heard it here. Go have some fun, enjoy yourself, go outside and breathe air. With mask around people, but breathe. And once again, I'm Victoria L. Johnson, host of the Sailor Moon Fan Club podcast. You can find me at Miss Old School. It's Old School with the K on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on TikTok at Sailor Victoria. And you can find the podcast at Moonies Club on Twitter, Moonies_club on Instagram. And we have merch if you want to get some merch at mooniesclub.com. And that's it. Thanks for listening, Moonies.